So quickly, we're going to try to make this recording for you. We want to tell you about our relative, Abadod Nasik Melik Brooks. His name was short for Melik, male. And so, make long story short, he was a rabbi. And basically, and everybody saw those films. He'd always make an appearance in his films that he made for his congregation to tell you what it's like if you're not good. You know, the original story of Robin Hood was a goy story. So he remakes the story of Robin Hood, where if Robin Hood really was a Jew and what happened, basically said, you know, in the movie, I think he got circumcised, basically said, and so to make a long story short, and how you're supposed to wait for your wedding night and you get something good, and Robin Hood was actually a royal, basically said, and not a criminal. So the story turned out quite well the way he told it. So, you know, we made Star Wars, so that's how you could do the space, the Star Wars spin-off from a Star Wars, and all the other things. He only made a few that you saw, and you saw them after I was kidnapped and abducted. And so, make a long story short, they had heard about these things, the kidnappers and the harassers, and they, you know, somebody seen them, and they didn't they didn't like the fact he wasn't trying to be funny. They were only for personal use. So it was kind of like hard for him to release a story of Robin Hood, you know, retold as if Robin Hood were Robin Hood of Locksley and Marion of Bago, Lox and Bagels, and how they were meant to be together. Somebody did something to Robin Hood because they said, and so how he asked them if they were gay, and they said no, they're straight. He was like, oh, good, because you know that would be another problem. He was a rabbi, because they said so. He's telling a story to the congregation how you're supposed to be. If you're something else other than Jewish, you're going to have a problem. This is the story that the way he rewrote it was the fact that they turned out good, and he was actually good to begin with. We're not to steal for any reason. So that's the story. That's the truth behind him making that. There's no reason to steal for any reason. There's no thou shalt not steal. It's not thou shalt not steal, but it's thou shalt not steal, period. Because that's what God means. And so basically said, and you're supposed to wait for marriage before you have relationships. You're supposed to have a physical relationship. And so basically said, and the chastity belt did exist. So we're just letting you know, let you know that too. And so it's not like it didn't. It did exist. So basically said, and so we just let you know that too. So how if Robin, if the original story was it wasn't such a good person that was doing that, and the woman could probably have been anything. So but we want to let you know that too. But but that's not the way that he wrote it. That it turned out to be, as it turned to be a good ending, because Robin Hood was really royal, and Robin Hood had something happen to Robin Hood. He was hurt because and he was actually a Jew, and Marion was a Jew, and the crooked police the sheriff of Rottingham, he was the crook, and there's even a scene where he tried to attack Maid Marian. He couldn't do that, and she said she would never submit to him. He's a criminal, blah blah blah. Basically, she was saying that basically, so because she wasn't criminal. So he says it, and so we just looked at that too, and you're supposed to wait for your wedding night. So I didn't have any example to show the children except for that. Now another thing, people saw those stories that he was telling the congregation. They said, you should show these to other people. But I said, and everybody wished they had never done that, because he was murdered. He was murdered well before our kidnapping and abduction, when we had our organized royal police sting, and we inherited those stories from our relative Abadod Nasik Melik Brooks. And so we just like that too. So now I'm telling you the meaning behind the stories. They were actually just to tell, yeah, if you're good, you know, it's going to turn out all right, and you're not going to steal and lie. You're going to wait for marriage, and before you have sex, and basically, and if you're bad, you're gonna end up like with a really bad reputation, and not at all. So basically, so I really don't know the goy version of Robin Hood so well. And I just know that it's never, we're taught you're never to steal for any reason, because I'm a Jew. And we're not to lie for any reason. You know, the people that try to hurt us all, they think that you can just come and kill, like Hitler was a dirty person. He was goy, and he thought that you could kill and steal from people and be all right. Mass murderer. It's not for any reason that you're supposed to be able to steal from a person. You ask for the things you want. If you need something, you know, so we just looked at that too. So now everybody comes in here telling lies, because the the people that think they should lie and steal to get what they want. They did lose. Look, they said, we didn't lose. See how they tried to interfere? There was nobody in here. So I kept it, they're criminal. And so he wanted to tell that the Americans, they it's our right to rob and steal from the rich and then give to their poor people. You're poor if you steal people. You're not going to be anything but poor. So we're looking at that too. Because of how God says, it's like hatch somebody else's adder's eggs. Adders are poison, and then you stole from somebody, you lose what you got, plus what you stole from the person. These people are criminal, they're not ours, and they think it's all right, and they're going back and forth and doing things. We don't want these people. They're not ours, and they came to try to kill us, try to take our things. The kidnappers talk about they're going to steal all the rich people's money, and how they're going to take it for their government, America, and that's Germany. Now, the kidnappers bragged about it. They thought I'd be dead, but I didn't die because God controls life and death. Or God controls life and death. They thought they would, and they were trying to put homosexuals in the place of me and my beloved and trying to have homosexual and whore rule all over the planet, because that's the devil that they follow. It's not our God. Premarital sex is punished by death in our law. So and all these other things that they do, kidnapping and all this stuff that, and we told you about our law, about our Mosaic law, about if you steal, you pay back 5 times what you stole plus what you stole. If you kill somebody to try to steal, you pay with your life. So we just let you know that too. Now here's the thing: these stories were for the congregation, personal things to be shown to show the congregation and how if you're not good, what could happen to you. Always explain the original way the story was told, or the story is told with that one, because that was something that Robin Hood it's like a story that everybody knows, Mr. Sid, and so he had to go through we had to go through things to try to just tell the story, Mr. Sid, and so the stories were released after I was kidnapped, and but then the kidnappers couldn't kill us, and I was dropped off, and I had no memory. So we inherited those stories. So our beloved Rothschild family, my beloved husband Shavit, our beloved Shavit family, our people released those stories. The kidnappers, I want to tell you, Dr. Kirumba Mars and the people with them, when they held me, they're trying to make me watch a movie that they got a copy of from somebody. Robin Hood Men in Tights. They admitted they killed Abadonasik Melik Brooks. That's right. They admitted that they had killed him. So I heard them say that, but that kidnapper, Dr. Bumar, Lucifer, aka Hitler's son-in-law, and George Bush's relative. I heard them say that they had, and they snatched me because they were mad about the way the movie was going, and it wasn't the way that everybody had known the story. About the woman was actually clean, and how the crooked police tried to rape her, and he couldn't get her, and he was trying to force him to marry her, and they were going to try to kill Robin and all the other stuff like that in the movie, and how they turned out to be good. They didn't like that, and they left in the middle of the movie, dragging me out and sticking me with a syringe, drugging me even more. And demanding things. They took me around to demand even more things of my beloved husband, CHAMISHI, and our beloved family and kids people. So I just went into the tattoo, and at one point, my beloved husband, CHAMISHI, was abducted, and they hit him in his head and caused a real bad injury, and to our beloved dad, his father, and to Emi, his mother, our beloved mother, Doda Emi. So we just went into it too. So we just want to tell you this about that. They're trying to take up room, doing things so that we won't be able to write like we're supposed to, but they really did interfere today. And so I've never been an American citizen, and I never ever will be. And they had planned to try to lie and steal and kill and take things. I'm a kidnap victim. I was kidnapped. I have papers for other places, as I said. And so, and the Interpol, hello. Okay, so they know the travel document has a lock, an Interpol lock on it, because it is evidence that bad Americans kidnapped me. Now, we showed you the suitcase in the other video. That's signs of torture, people. And we figured out the fact that they tear up the suitcase, they have somebody going to take them back to get money. I really don't believe they would tear up the suitcase. Maybe they could if they're rude and then give pieces to people, because there's something wrong with them. But every time I buy these suitcases, I have the warranties on them: 3-year warranty, 5-year warranty. There was a man that I left a suitcase. They said he took it out of the laundry. He's still rolling it around. Because I said he takes it to work sometimes, so you know it's supposed to work. And I see suitcases that I bought that other people that last other people longer, but they don't last me at all. So they get tore up or real quick or whatever. So I had a really beautiful tapestry suitcase. It belonged to my beloved husband. She came out SHABBAT, and I paid like 40 lira for it. Hello, Turkey, beautiful. And it didn't break until somebody in the hotel somebody in the hotel that we stayed, a worker trying to help me put down the handle. And somebody just said, so we just left it too. And I wrote it every day, perfect wheels and everything. So we know that the blue suitcase, we saw in the bank vault that somebody paid the woman 100 francs or 100 euro. Because I saw it looked like 100 to tear up the suitcase, and she said, "You want me to do something else to her?" I heard her say that, but the bank camera caught it, and I saw I pretend like I was asleep, but I saw him too. And somebody just said the suitcase, I blew I bought at Passover. It lasted 4 months. Not really 4 months because it broke the wheels and there's a hole in all the other stuff because it was drugged like that, and drug on the ground, and they fixed it so I can't take it back. But somebody might be taking these suitcases back and taking them back and saying, oh, getting some kind of money for them. Some kind of stuff they get for these suitcases. They get something because they keep, every time I kept trying to keep, they tried to break it before I got out of the store, the silver one. And then the man just came and just kicked it. And just something else, he actually had a weapon, he's going to try to cut me. Somebody said, they get something for these suitcases they're tearing up. I'm a Toomey Corporation. We own you, right? I own part of you. And the suitcase is ballistic made. And if it breaks, I'll give you a suitcase, no matter how many times you bring it back to me. We got the bad Americans are breaking the suitcase. As I said, every time I took a bag, they give me another one. So, because that's the way it's supposed to be. And these have the warranty. They're supposed to you have to have a receipt. They're supposed to, and you bring the suitcase. They're supposed to give you a new suitcase. But somehow the receipts go missing. But God just knows that what they did. So they're doing something with these suitcases. Because I tried to take it back one time, and that you leave it, and then and we'll see. But that's not what the warranty says. We own the store too, so the women were being nasty. They're the whore women that tried to hurt us. But they didn't. There were other women, new women, or other people, and they didn't like the fact that they were trying to trap the suitcase. And when I got the silver one, the woman said, "You're stupid," like that. And then a week later, they broke it. So I figured maybe somebody's doing something with the suitcases, trying to get money back or something, or get money from them. Okay, now there are 5 asteroids that are out there. But it said it's always the next 5. Like people. Okay, so there was 2 today, 2 asteroids, not the one we showed you, but 2 came today. But it said so whenever it's supposed to come. But it said, and so that's we had rain and stuff here, and then there's one tomorrow. And then there's one on Sunday, and there's one on Monday. But there's no asteroid on Shabbat, because God says we're supposed to rest on Shabbat. Now, we know how those asteroids would work if they would hit and get rid of the wicked people. That God would get rid of all the wicked people, and everything would be destroyed on the planet except for the good people, and we'd go and be with God some other place. God would just take us. So, but that's not what's going to be, because God intended for the world, for us to live for eternity, and our kingdom to last forever and ever, never to be destroyed, never to transfer people, and our people who are hurt come back in a resurrection to sleep in the dust of the earth, because that's what it says. So it's not going to be the way that the wicked people intend for things to be. It's going to be the way that God intended for things to be. Okay, so Daniel says that people who sleep in the dust, they come back, resurrection. Dust is sleep in the dust of the earth. That's right. Okay, so now we'll talk to you as soon as we can. Try to be careful, safe, and on alert. But God is showing with the asteroids that there's no asteroid on Shabbat. Shabbat is Friday night to Saturday night. That's right. Friday night to Saturday night. At one time in Bulgaria, as we saw an asteroid, and it went towards the people that had hurt a rabbi of ours. So, and it disintegrated. But there was a place that was involved in our kidnapping abduction, and I told the attendant, and it was something we owned. I said, "Look up, look up." He wouldn't look up, and I said, "I'm getting away from you." And you can't run from the asteroid; it'll move the way it wants to move, the way that God has it to move. And so we just let you do that too. Now, okay, now try to be careful, safe, and honor, because it's going to be the way God intended things to be. Our beloved God is God alone, because it's our beloved God who's God. And there were thunderings today, and God said that the woman is going to jail in that place. And she didn't want me to know. She's being arrested, and she didn't want me to know. She keeps trying to call people on me and saying I'm criminal and things like that. I'm not the criminal, and she's not our Rothschild's family. Do you think that they would have me tortured like that? My family wouldn't have me tortured. That's the sign of torture. That somebody did the suitcase things. They're not torturing I can't wash. They would torture all of us. So we win. This is it. The bad people try to hurt us all. They would try to torture us. And the bad Americans always tortured me. That's why they kidnapped me. They kidnapped me and tortured me. What do you think my ruined teeth are? That's torture. What do you think stalking and harassing and sleep deprivation and all that's torture. Torture. Or harping on your nerves all the time about the fact that you're nothing, you're nobody, and blah, 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 and there's somebody else that's not that. And somebody just said, and so we just want to let you know that too. Okay, so, there are good people here that are from here and that are of our things, but the bad people aren't and can never be. You have to touch that water to change. And anybody that hurt the Rebbetzin or any of us, nobody could ever change them. And we told you that about, a Catholic can't be converted and a Jew can't be converted. And so, and we know that what the Nazis did to us in World War II, but they couldn't convert us. But it's going to let you that too. And there's no non-Jew that's king over us. Because they were trying to get rid of all our people and family and trying to put non-Jews in our places and trying to get rid of us, and it's not going to be. My beloved Shabbat is my first cousin. He came from a Jewish mother, Jewish father. He was born a Jew. And so they don't like us, basically. But we're not bad people. We don't steal. We don't lie. We don't cheat. We don't do any of those bad things. We don't murder. Murder is not self-defense. It's somebody trying to kill you because they want your things. That's murder. It's not self-defense. So I looked up they showed me these things. I don't look them up, but they showed me these things about 10 people who got convicted and what they did in a court when they were convicted. And so and what they think they went to jail for, but so and how they were like people that would go for life or get death and all these weird people doing these terrible dirty things to people, and then it was time to pay, they don't want to pay. It's just like how when how our law, when a person is to have their head cut off or put to death for what they've done over here, it's like the woman, we saw her, she raped and she murdered her daughter. Her daughter's like 7 years old. She wasn't ours, but she was a worker that came into our things. So they executed her. And so, but when it was time for her to die, she didn't want to pay for the. She killed her 7-year-old daughter. Her daughter had to have told she was being tortured, basically by her own mother. Her mother raped her and then killed her. And so when that happened, the henchman cut her head off because they had us watch. And when they cut her head off, and she said, she asked the henchman, was her head cut off? And he said, yeah. And so he picked it up and put it in a bucket. And he said he really hated that because they commit a crime that they have to die for, and they just don't want to die. She gave all these things that, and then when that happens, we saw that because they have us watch. So because we know that people are supposed to be punished for certain things. God controls life and death. And so, and God tells us what to do, and we're not to have bad things. And the people have to know that you're punished for these for crimes that you commit that are punishable by death, because God tells us to, because it's to eradicate the evil from us and to put the fear in people. Okay, so now we want to tell you that we know there's some grown-ups that are going to be able to make it, not just the children, that most likely the parents of the children, and that have proper marriages, and there are reasons, okay, that others may be able to make them. Not the ones talking to them, you're nothing, you're nobody, they're getting rid of you, they're going to put some whore in my place, basically. They'll put a whore in my place, because that's what God said. Anybody tries to be in my place, it's nothing but a whore. So we just want to God thundered that. So and so we just looked at they just want to try to kill us and try to make us dirty and try to get rid of us because they're really, really wrong. So we told you that Madonna and aka Lord Des are on the internet along with Jenna and others, Chelsea and everything, the porn. And so we just want to let you know that too, and really gross. And so I'm not good for that. They're showing me this I've never looked at stuff like that. I was looking for something else and I saw that one. I was like, wow, but they're helping me to remember that they did these things and they were grown when I was. These are people that were involved in kidnapping abduction. So I just let you that too. And they weren't even women. A lot of them, like Madonna K. Lord does, those aren't women. You know, the original, and even breast implanted Adolf Eichmann's son-in-law that pretends to be a singing woman that they call Beyonce, also on the internet doing really nasty things. So it says that we know that they were porn people. So, okay, so, and they sit there after us. We don't want stuff like that. We want to be perfected. We want to live for eternity, and we want to be good, clean, and shiny. And it's not like we just all of a sudden, they came looking, oh, why do they have so much? Then they find out because we worship God and we do what we're supposed to do. They come and bothering everybody. So, you know, like even when I was speaking to you about God, how I was praising God, you know, I talk like that all the time. But, you know, I didn't like the fact that people are making fun of it, you know. And so you're not to mock God. And I just know. So instead of it, they only showed us one asteroid. But then when I looked last night, there was more than one. It was this morning more than one. It was like two, and then one tomorrow, and then one on Sunday and one on Monday. The asteroids come like that. And so they picked the 5, but we know what the 5 would do. This is what God would do. But God's not going to do that. God would send all 4 asteroids and crack the earth and split in half. One part will go into oblivion, the next part will be hanging on and still suspended in the air. Then God would send the 5th asteroid and knock that piece out into oblivion. And all the bad people would be gone. They never ever bother us again. But we would go on. Because that's the way it's supposed to be. God intends for us live for eternity and everybody else live for eternity. So God will find a way, but God's not going to do that because God said those who sleep in the dust of the earth will be resurrected, and our kingdom, which God made on this earth and made for us, will last for all eternity. So the bad people are going to go away. So we're going to leave. And God, our God is awesome, will always find a way, because it said to make sure that we will be, we will always serve and love our beloved God, who's God alone. Because he said, so we just mentioned that too. But God could do it that way. But God would do it that way because the bad people, he's sick of looking at the dirt down here and all the whores and all the homo people, thinking that it's all right. It's not all right, people. It's disgusting to us, and we're human. And it's disgusting to our God, and our God sees everything. Man, you know, I told you, okay, you see the description, everybody knows the description of God. Ancient of Days, he's God. This is, and he has white hair, but and he has hair like wool. And he sits on a fiery throne. That's not touching any blasphemous human female that thinks that it can be, you know, that mixed with fallen things. There's something wrong with that, people. Don't you know that's false? So they're not what we believe and what we told you. Our things are real. Their belief they can lay with. I'm coming out of my mouth. So that they could be with that something so beautiful. With please, people, they're really wrong. They're the ones that mix the fallen things the second time, and now they're gonna go because they really have no respect for our God. Amalekites that put them involved in wrongdoing. So now we want to let you know that it's going to be Shabbat soon. So we'll talk to you so we can write, because I know you like to like when we write, it's better, and it's not so many videos that you have to go through, and maybe you might even understand what I'm saying. So the thing is that we just want to help those that we can help, and we know that our beloved God, who's God alone, will help that, because God told us to tell you that you can live for eternity in hell. And so don't believe the devil, because the devil's not gonna be around. The devil has all this nasty, dirty stuff, and it's not correct. And do you know you're judged by, you're marked by the devil by the bad thing to do? Which is it. And so we just want to let you know that too. So you're not supposed to steal for any reason, and you're not supposed to do anything but be good, like God said. And those videos they were actually videos made to tell stories to the congregation, so they know that they're supposed to be good, and if they're good, how things turn out. This is it. And we know that our faith is good, our belief in God is good, and we're Jewish. This is it. That's why He made that Jewish. Okay, so we'll talk to you as soon as we can, and you try to be careful, because if you see, the story turned out quite well, because he was found out to be a royal, and he was a Jewish royal, and how the sheriff tried to, the crooked police and it was trying to do things, and he was just really all wrong, and so but just and how they were trying to take steal their things. And I think the man we made Star Trek, because I said, and so God gave us all these beautiful things, and so I think the man in the movie was from our Star Trek 2, Next Generation. Also, we wanted to tell you, Geordi in Star Trek: The Next Generation, The character patterned after our relative Nasik Stevie Wonder, a starship observer that couldn't see. Okay, so now I'm trying to be careful. We'll talk to you as soon as we can.